Hello, and welcome to another live stream. My name's Shane Olson, and today we're going to be sculpting this amazing piece by Ben Eblin. Ben, he live streams every Sunday night here. I think he's from Australia. And hey, what's up, Mark? How is the audio and all that? Do an audio check. Make sure everything's working well. Okay. You can't hear my music this time, hopefully. Sounds good. Okay. Good deal. Let's do a skin ball. No music. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay. Assessment. This head is really interesting. I love the planes. I'm always a sucker for planes in a face, as you guys all know if you've watched me before. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this down and kind of make this big shape. Usually I'll do a cranium and then a jaw. I'm trying to decide if I want to do that or not, because I'm looking and seeing the brow coming out, and I can make that piece, that whole section, the cranium, and then add another piece. I think I'll do that. That's what I typically do. Let's try it. Sometimes I think maybe I should do something different, and then I'm like, nope, same. It works. Why change what's working, right? Okay. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. If you have your gizmo showing and you select and insert multi-mesh, it's going to replace your current mesh with whatever you select. So you got to hide your gizmo first and then select something. And I just want to give a shout out to Jaime from Pixelogic / Maxon. It's his birthday today. Just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. All right. So I'm going to turn this down, stretch this out. Hey, Chuck, how you doing? The one and only breath. There can only be one. I'm actually listening to music today. Go figure. So this brow is super like sharp. So it's flat on the front. The weekend I tried out Maya 6. Yeah, Maya is just kind of stagnant. I haven't used it for a long time, actually. I was thinking about like getting a trial version just to see what is new, if anything. Okay, come on. I've been playing around with Character Creator a lot, in fact, and I've been doing some things for them, and it's integrated with ZBrush so well. It uses GoZ and it goes back and forth, and they have some really nice plugins and products and stuff that you can use to really enhance your characters. And it's so great because you can just take a character. So this is what I've done is I took a character from one of my live streams, like this head, for example. And so she didn't have a body like this. It was just a bust. And I decided to push it over to, oh, Tokefan, I'll have to pop it open and look. How you doing, man? I'll have to check it out. Anyway, So I've been playing with that, and I pushed one of my characters over from one of my live streams. I think I actually have it open right now. Yeah, so you might have seen this in some of their advertisements, but this was a Josh Black character that I did. And then what you can do is, well, I made a stylized base mesh. I started with their realistic base mesh over in Character Designer or Character Creator. And then I edited it with some of the people on their team to look more stylized so I could start from a better spot. And then you can push the character over and then give them a body and like match it to the head, and then bring it back here and you can put motion on it. Like if you use their base mesh, it's automatically rigged. I don't know if you guys can see this if I hit play. So it's just kind of going through some facial exercises and stuff. Hey, what's up, Leonard? So it's just crazy fun to see your character come to life. And yeah, so then I've showed a couple people already, but then if you guys remember, if you've seen the caricature of me, I decided to take the caricature of me and push that over to here. And let me show you. Let's see. How you guys doing? Drum roll. Look at this guy. Who's this? Pretty funny. And he moves around. So what's funny about this too is, and I'm using a 3D connection mouse, is why it's smooth when I'm moving it around. Does it wrap a rigged base mesh over your sculpt? Yes, it does. But what it does is, hold on, let me stop this so he stops moving. I gave him some, anyway, he's got these huge hands I gotta fix. But basically there's a plugin called Headshot that kind of works like ZWrapper, but it works inside of Character Creator. So you push your sculpt over there and then you map it over there. It pops up two different windows and you can align everything. But for my characters, what I've been doing is I've just been importing their base mesh into ZBrush and then scooting stuff around to match my sculpts. And then I project like the poly paint and everything on there. And then, because you can subdivide the base mesh and then you can paint on it and do some surface details. But when you push it back, you have to push it back using, you use Go Z, but it will push back the lowest subdivision level. So you have to use maps like displacement or normal maps, things like that for detail. It will use poly paint, but the mesh isn't that dense. So yeah, you can't really, you don't push the poly paint over, you actually make textures instead. So over in ZBrush, when you go to push it over, you use the plugin called Multi-Map Exporter because the character has UDIMs on it, which is several UV sets. And ZBrush doesn't support authoring UDIMs, but you can export UDIMs. So if you bring their base mesh in, subdivide it up, do some poly paint, then you can do Multi-Map Exporter and it will export all 5 maps that you need. Then over in Character Creator, you select the base mesh, like this body right here. You select that, and then here's a list of all the maps. So like for the head, for example, right here, this is the head map, and you just double click on it, and then go get the map that you exported out for the head. But you can see it also supports bump, roughness, ambient occlusion, blending, stuff like that. So I did that with this hat right here. I textured it over in ZBrush, and then I exported a texture from it. And then, let's see where that hat is. You can see the texture right here. I did the UVs and the texture exporting out of ZBrush and just stuck it over here. Now, the glasses, those were an asset. He looks high. Okay, let's move him around. Okay, so here, let me put a different motion on. I can do a wrinkle check, a dramatic male wrinkle check. I'm still using the, I still need to update the teeth. But you can see like the teeth are just very, just smooth kind of horseshoes, you know? But the, it's so funny. He's all sad. So sad. Yeah, it's like, nah. Anyway, the eyebrows I pushed over from ZBrush, but these glasses and this mustache and beard I got from their asset set. So, dude, don't think I haven't thought about it. They have this thing called AccuFace that you can use with your webcam or an iPhone or even a pre-recorded video, and it will drive your character with that. So if you check out AccuFace, you can check that out. Here, let me hide the chat for just a second so you can see this stuff. And then make a new hand instead of that bare hand. Make my hand, but make it all fat like this one, you know. Anyway. So if you go to the asset store, you can find, like, it comes with a bunch of stuff, and you can find, like, there's like hair elements, like this beard, and this is where I got it. So I did this, you can drag and drop this mustache on there, and that's what this mustache is. I just dragged and dropped it, and since I was using their own base mesh, it just automatically maps it to the surface. It's so crazy. Hey, Mr. Stone. So that's what I'm trying to explain. This is in Character Creator. So I made the head in ZBrush, and then I pushed over the character base mesh from here over to ZBrush, remapped it, and then pushed it back. This shirt and these pants are also from the store here. But what's crazy is I can take a shirt after I put it on here, I can take this shirt and push it over to ZBrush and edit it over there to be whatever I want it to be. You know, I could put a logo or something on here. So, and then push it back. You can see up the top, it also works with Substance Painter. So you can pack it up. Basically what it does, and Michael Pavlovich has made a bunch of videos on this, but you can pack up all your materials and everything and your meshes into here, and it will put them all in nice folders that Substance can read. And then you just go load it into Substance and edit your stuff there and push it back. But here's Headshot 2. This is the thing that allows you to map the base mesh onto your sculpt, which is super cool. Anyway, yeah, so that's super fun. And I did, let me see, I'll do one more. I'll show you one more. Because I also did it with Ben Eblin's Peaky Blinders guy that I did. Yeah. Revolution. So I did collab with them on a stylized base mesh. And yeah, so here's another one. So I made this guy during the Pixelogic live stream. He has a wrinkle maps on him. And anyway, this is another. See, when he does his expressions, it pulls in those wrinkle maps. And if you have a plugin called Face Tools, you can author these over in ZBrush as well. You can actually paint the wrinkle maps right on the surface, and they'll call them when he does the expressions, it'll call those wrinkles. It's so nice. It just makes rigging and animation extremely easy. But I just popped this coat and this shirt and these pants from the store here. I didn't make these, but I did edit his body to match his head, the proportions of it and stuff. So anyway, it's really fun. This is some hair that I made and whatnot. So anyway, highly recommended. It's a lot of fun. Okay, let's turn that chat back on. Okay. So let's get back to this. I'm gonna save it. I'm trying to remember what, I can't even remember last week. Oh, the cowboy, right. So I made that hat, Tolk fan. So this is what I ended up doing. It's just basically a sheet of topology that I gave dynamic thickness to. And then I just asymmetrically made it go like this with the curve editor. I was actually trying to match the mesh to this guy's head because it's so pushed with crazy angles and stuff. But this is how I did his hat off stream after I was finished. And basically to make this, I just did a plane and then bent it. So there you go. I can't tell which is the real one. Funny. The original concept artist for that caricature was Nathan Lindsay. It's an animator that I used to work with at Avalanche. He's really good at doing caricatures. Okay, so the back of her head, this is the part that I want to get right. Because it's basically a big wedge that goes back. Hey Ingrid, how you doing? It's been a while. What you been up to? Okay, I'm gonna bring her head up like this. Let's turn on AccuCurve and get it all pointy. Nice and pointy. Surviving? Yeah, same, man. Same. Speaking of which, I should probably do a shameless plug for my stuff. If you guys want, I give away these brushes down here. All these brushes, including this including this IMM brush. Insert multi-mesh brush. I give these brushes away for free over on my website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. These are all the brushes I use for every single character that I make. And I give them away for free, including this ruler file. And this ruler file, this ruler I actually use to go back and forth between Character Creator. So with Character Creator, they have a free plugin, and it's called ZBrush Pose Tools right here. And it has a scene resizer, like right here. So you can see that this ruler it's 200 centimeters tall. If you're going to make it into a meter ruler, if you're going to use it for meters, you basically select centimeters, and then you alter this. What I usually do is slide it, because for some reason it will select a different subtool. Go back to the ruler, type 200 in here, and then hit resize, and then it will go through and resize that scene. I don't know why it's 204. Here I'm gonna hit no. I bet the head is sticking up above the ruler. Yep, just barely. See that? That's why it's saying, do you want to adjust it to 204? So let's shrink this down. So it's, you have to have everything inside the ruler. You can't have it hanging out or it won't work. Okay, so select that ruler, hit resize, and it should say 200. There it goes. And say yes. And then to check it, you can go down to export and just make sure it says scale 100. And that will allow you to push your character back and forth to any program that uses meters, like Maya or whatever. Yeah, so that ruler comes in handy in quite a few instances, and it works really well with 3D printing. And again, I give that away for free. I know some toy companies that actually use that ruler. And I'm happy to share. And then I also have an online course called the 3D Character Workshop, which over 2,000 people have joined, crazy enough, over the last 6 years. It's still going. if you're interested. Same place, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Check that out. And then lastly, I have an acceleration program, which is a very small group of students that want to get group coaching from me. We meet every week for a couple hours and go over your portfolio and your goals and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, please send me an email. You can go to 3D Character Workshop and click on the contact up top and just send me an email that goes to me. Or if you're already a student and you're interested, you can just DM me in the student Discord. There you go. Let's give her a neck. She's got quite the jaw. I probably made it too long and too sticky outy. Is that a word? We're learning about rigging in Maya, so used to rigging in Blender and Maya rigging is completely different. Yep, it is. Yep. I've only played with the auto rigging stuff in Blender, but I used to rig in Maya all the time. And Character Creator is that rig I was just showing off. That is based on Autodesk's full body IK rig, which is nice because that just means that you can push it anywhere you want. Like you can push it to Blender or Maya or wherever. But just know that it's a full body IK, which means I believe there's 3 skeletons. So there's an FK skeleton and an IK skeleton, and both of them are driving the final skeleton that's skin bound. So it's great for motion capture. It stinks for hand animation because the curves don't accurately represent what's happening in the rig. Okay, I'm gonna test this. Just double check my proportions here. So I think they might be a little off, but I want to check here. And it's in perspective. Let's turn on perspective. Okay, yeah, not bad. I think the eyes can come down because it's like this. I guess I could look at it like this. The chin is too long and that forehead could be taller. Okay. Yeah, this is Ben Eblin. See right here? Ben Eblin right there. Yeah, Ben is fantastic as far as stylized characters are concerned. It's really, really good. And Ben streams on his own channel every Sunday night. I believe he's from Australia. Okay, I want to remesh these things because they're a little bit low. If I turn off dynamic subdivision, they're a bit low. So I'm gonna add 2 real subdivision levels and then delete them, and then Z remesh it. Keep groups, turn smoothing, well, about right there. And let's turn this down to about 2000, maybe 1000. Let's see what that gives us. Not bad. Let's go a little higher. Maybe 1.5. That's good. Okay. I just wanted even topology to keep going, and then I can turn dynamic back on. And we're back in business. Okay. I felt that this purple jaw was being stretched too far, so I was running out of geometry, and I want to kind of pinch this edge right here. So how are you guys doing? What are you working on this week? Anything fun? Squish that down. Hey, Wilberth, superheroes, so I'm pushing my anatomy knowledge. Oh, yeah. I suggest checking out George Zakey's work with his blockouts. They're really, really fun. George Zakey has a Gumroad. You can check those out. Oh, and I don't. Yeah, Ian, you have a whole house of kids that just go to do they go to like childcare or anything or school? There you go, Wilbur. Yeah, you can. He sells them. They're quite affordable. Okay, I'm gonna stitch the upper head and the lower head together, but not the neck. So you can hide pieces. Is it? I can't remember if it's hiding or masking. I think it's masking on this one. Okay. Watching your streams makes me want to keep sculpting, but you gotta yeah, it's quite fun. 2 of them go to school. Yep, you're sending them to the petri dish. That's what we like to say with my grandkid. Going off to the petri dish to go get sick from all the other kids. Okay, so I'm gonna stitch this. Go to this gear and click on remesh by union, which will stitch it together. And then accept, and then turn symmetry back on. And I know I just Z remesh this, but I'm gonna do it again. Because when you stitch it, it just makes all these triangles across the stitched line. It makes it look like garbage. So let's do a remesher. There we go, nice and pretty. Okay, thanks, Neil. Okay, let's get that nose in there. That's the thing, right? Yep, just remember to turn your symmetry back on after doing a remesh by union. Now, there's a couple ways we can get the planes on this nose. And you probably wonder why I don't start with a cube every time. And I just like the organicness that a sphere gives me. This insert multi-mesh brush, I occasionally use the other shapes, but most of the time I just use a sphere or my appendage, which is essentially just an elongated sphere. So spheres for the win. And then there's so many ways I could flatten this. I could use the clip curve brush, which is essentially a clip smash brush, which will take everything on the gradient side of this little white line and push it down to the white dotted line, like that. So I could use that, and I could do the same with the bottom of the nose. And to move it around, basically you hold down Control plus Shift and drag. And while you're holding down Shift, it will snap degrees like this, pop, 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 pop. And you can see it shows the angle number on the side, so you can get a perfect 45 like this. Or you can let go of Shift and it just moves around freely. And if you want to actually move it around your screen, you can just add spacebar to your selection, and then you can move it anywhere you want. And you can also add an angle to it by clicking down Alt, and it will kind of pin a little anchor in the middle of that thing. And then if you hit Alt twice, like boom, boom, it'll give you a sharp angle like this. So those are some ways you can use the clip curve brush, and that works with all curves of this type. And I want to kind of clip this nose off at a slight angle like this. kind of like that. So now we just turned a sphere into a cube somewhat. Hey Tuara, how you doing? I saw you streaming earlier today. I saw you streaming last night. I almost hopped on and I felt bad because you're like, where is everybody? Oh goodness. You can also use H-polish to kind of flatten out areas. It doesn't work as well on a low resolution mesh like this, but it works well enough. You can kind of push your geometry around. And the reason why I wanted to connect these two is because I want to blend, like flatten the whole angle from the side of the head. See this big angle going from the side of the head all the way down the side. Really fun. What exactly does destructive mean in ZBrush? It means exactly what it sounds like. You're destroying things, which means you want to keep things non-destructive. So basically you want to be able to keep them editable for as long as possible. And I'm doing that now with, I'm blocking this out in primitive shapes. And what that means is I can keep moving this neck for as much as I want. If I were to stitch that neck in, that basically is destroying the separation because they're now connected. And that's where the destructive comes in. But keeping it separate objects means you're keeping it non-destructive. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay. I'm going to clip this off on the inside too, just for fun. And the top to really cube it up. Because I'm going to do group by normals. Didn't work because I don't, if you want, you can change that max angle. Let's go higher. No, maybe lower. That's too low. Gosh, I can't do it because the angles right here are not sharp enough. That's okay. I just basically I wanted to do a remesh. I'm going to keep it the same and get rid of that weird pole business happening back there. So when merging layers, do I avoid using ZRemesher? When you say layers, are you talking about actual layers or are you talking about subtools? Because subtools, they look like layers, but they're not actually layers. So just so we can be clear. Subtools, okay. Yeah, layers are a whole different thing. So when merging subtools, avoid using ZRemesher or Dynamesh. No, not necessarily. Like when I block out my characters, I usually keep the entire block out as one subtool unless it's a material like my eyes. I don't want to accidentally mess with the perfect spherical eyes. So I will usually put those on a different subtool. I'll put teeth on a different subtool. But for the most part, I'll keep my characters in blockout stage like this for as long as possible. Again, so it's not destructive. Okay, so let's clean this up in the back. And then I can use pinch and just kind of pinch this down here like this. And when you ZRemesh, the ZRemesher tends, it likes to, it's like water. It likes to follow peaks and valleys. So if I make a peak like this with a pinch, ZRemesher will try to stick to that. Yep, you're welcome. I'm going to subdivide this once and then get rid of the lower subdivision just so I have more geometry to pinch. And then I kind of want to cut back with this eyeball and cut back over here to start to make that eye socket. And this goes all the way down. So I'm probably getting too thin before it goes forward because it kind of cuts back and then kicks forward. There's move infinite. Just try and kick that forward a little bit. I love this line going all the way back up here. Quick question, when do you decide to ZRemesh after using Sculptris Pro? I find myself not ZRemesh that often and sometimes just decimate. Yep, there's nothing wrong with that workflow at all whatsoever. So usually the difference between working with ZRemesher or Sculptris Pro, it doesn't really matter as long as you have the geometry, enough geometry to do what you need to do. Sometimes with Sculptris, it can get a little out of hand and you can start to introduce lumps and bumps. So that's kind of why I'm working with a lower resolution geometry here, is just because I'm really trying hard to get those planes. And that's why I'm not using Sculptris Pro yet. Typically, I'll use Sculptris Pro if you've watched my streams in the past. And the I know it sounds like a total jerkish answer, but the time to remesh is when you're ready. You know, you can just, it's almost like when you run out of stuff to do, you know, or if something's in your way, like that, you know, I did the two pieces, one for the cranium, one for the jaw, the jowl area, muzzle area. Once those two started to fight against the plane that I wanted to make, that's when I decided to join them together, remesh it so it'll be nice and clean and allow me to make that plane. So that's kind of the answer, is when you need it. I wish there was a cleaner answer for that. I still have AccuCurve on. This nose kind of curves out. Fair enough. Yeah, this model is not that lumpy. Yep. Yeah, I'm trying to, the goal here right now is finding those planes and really trying to get the base as geometric as possible, if that's a term. You train me not to go over 1 million mark if I don't need to, so I have a word. Yep. Once you start going over 1 million, then you start to get into the weeds. The only reason you would ever need to go past that is if you have an absolute need for it. And usually that is at the very, very end when you start to need surface detail, either with poly paint or with like surface texture. Like if you're using the noise maker and you really need some detailed noise stuff going on, that's when you might need, especially if your character is full body and not sliced at like the neck or the wrists or something like that. That sounds horrid, but that's when you might go above 1 million or like into the 3 million. I rarely get up into the 12s or past that unless I am like it's full body character and it's got a lot of detail, like a dinosaur with a bunch of scales or something like that, or a dragon with a bunch of scales. That is when, and I will try and look for ways to split it, because it's 1 million per subtool, not per character. So make sure that's understood. Yeah, people tend to just crank it, you know, just like go crazy with the subdivisions or the Sculptris Pro, but you want to manage it. There's it's like managing folders and files. You want to manage your meshes. All right. Hey, look, Lori, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. Okay, there's see this little, it's not exactly how I want it. I'm like super particular when it comes to the lines, where they originate and where they end. This. And then this jaw is undercutting too much, so I want to pull it out. You can kind of see the warble here too. Now, see, as I pulled this out, it created a lump and a dip. So I can fix that with either the fill brush. Fill brush works on higher resolution meshes. I can just inflate it and then hit it again with H polish with a large brush. Just kind of work it back in. Nice and clean. It's like an Easter Island head. Yeah, Mark, I was thinking about that. Because you can actually see the protrusion of it, both the upper right here and the lower. You can actually see where it connects with that, with the head there. And I'm thinking about adding extra nostrils as well, extra nostril pieces. Too funny. Hey, somebody just bought my course. If you're here watching on the stream, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Even after 6 years of selling my course, I still get super excited when somebody buys it. And I just feel so grateful that somebody trusts me with their education. Okay, I'm just pulling this out a bit. I want to inflate this area underneath to kind of blend it into the face. Okay, let's get some eyes in there so we can react. Add react is the name of the game. Yeah, 6 years. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Let's go big with these eyes, bigger. Okay, so somebody was asking like when you split subtools, and I said the eyeball. So after I've created it, whenever you insert a multi-mesh, it will mask off the rest of your mesh. And see the eye is not masked, everything else is. So what you can do is you can hit split, unmask points. By the way, if you do grab my brushes and my ruler file, it also comes with this menu. And basically this menu is a shortened version of the tool menu. The tool menu can get really, really long and overwhelming. And I've basically taken out all the most, what am I trying to say? Most of the things that I access all the time. That's what I put in here. Most accessed. So if you click on this split unmask points, it will put the eyes into a new subtool. And then just make sure you actually click on it, because it will continue to leave the head selected. And then you can bury these eyes into the head. Let me see here. I feel a couple of years ago since you're about to open things. Yeah, it's been a while. Thanks, Neil. Appreciate it. Okay, maybe a little lower. And the reason I go big with my eyes is because the larger the sphere, the slower the turn on the surface. Like if you have a really small sphere, your eyes will look very bulgy on your character. Hey, what's up, Josh? Doing about a year ago, but I only recently started going through. Yeah, there's so much content in there too after being out for that long. Let me look at the trends. Yeah, that's what I thought. I also kind of like to put the gizmo in the center. Here, let's move these apart and just click on this. That will center it. And then I want one eye's worth of distance between those two. So I can see that I think the nose, the wedge of it gets wide as it goes back. I need to change that. So I'm going to make these a little farther. Yeah, that's good. Let's see. Let's see what happens. I want to fill them with a color. Kind of bluish. I'm just going to grab this color and then lighten it up a bit. Okay, turn off transparent. I never make my eyes pure white. And the reason I don't is because usually when you go to render your character, the lights will blow it out. So you kind of want to reduce the value on the eyes. Anything 100% white or 100% black, because if it's 100% black, that will also cap it and trying to remember the words for it. It's like kind of like in music when it caps. I don't know if that makes any sense at all. Let's see. Okay, now this is what I want to do with the nose, is widen that thing out. And I'm going to try and use a mask lasso. I could use the move brush, but it's going to introduce lumps all across there. So instead, I'm going to mask off the top bit and then hit blur. And then mask it again, just to make sure that really top edge isn't going to get busted. And then I can put the gizmo right on the edge, turn it, and then pull it out like this. See, it's kind of going down like that. It's a tricky wedge for sure, because it kind of goes narrower as it gets down there. It's even kind of narrow. It's narrower. Okay. And then I can grab the actual material. Whoops. Hide that nose and just kind of bring this up. So it's more of a round eye opening. And kind of push that socket in to give it a home. Now I'm starting to run out of geometry. So at this point I have a choice. I can either Z-remesh it again or go my typical route of just going into Sculptris Pro, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. You can see I'm just totally running out of geometry here. So basically I just want to turn on Sculptris Pro, go to my stroke, and make sure adaptive size is turned off underneath Sculptris Pro. I still need to hook up that that add-on that makes it just turn on and be there. Turn this down a little bit more. That's good. So basically I'm just going to flood fill this with Sculptris Pro geometry where I need it. Which is the face. I mean, I can go along these sharpened edges. I don't necessarily need to. And I can do the same thing on this nose if I want. And the reason you turn off adaptive size is because by default, the little triangles that it produces are tied to the brush and the brush size. I like to have it consistent with the world. So no matter what size my brush is, it will produce the same size triangles. And that's why I turn off adaptive. I'm just polishing this down because it kind of made this concave. Okay, let's add in the little nose phalanges. Okay, I'm going to reset that. So when you insert a multi-mesh, it will come in, when you go to snap it, it will snap to the last known rotation of your gizmo. So if you go ahead and hold down Alt and click on this arrow, you'll reset your gizmo. Then when you insert it and then you hold down Shift, it will snap to the world instead of to wherever you last left it. Phalanges. You want to make sure dynamic subdivision is turned off when you're using Sculptris Pro. Otherwise, it'll cause slowdown in ZBrush, and that's not what we want. Nobody wants slowdown. We want to sculpt speedy. You don't necessarily want to be super speedy. I learned that lesson the hard way. Quality over quantity. Take your time. Shaped like this triangle, and then I need to squish it more. You can always turn your gizmo and then flatten it down. Let's turn on local symmetry. Make these quite thin. Okay. Let's check a look and see how it's since I had my color still the same color as my eyeball, it will take on whatever color you use for your multi-mesh. Just fill that with this skin color. Okay. I think I want to make this nose thinner. Whoops. Turn off symmetry. If you ever want to center your gizmo in some object in the middle of your world, if you click this go to unmask mesh center with symmetry turned on, it will center it in one side of your object. So if you want to put it in the center, you just have to temporarily turn off symmetry and then hit it again. It will put it in the middle. Just make sure you turn symmetry back on and you're good to go. How will I get a job when I'm good? Apply. I know that's not a nice answer, but yeah, you just have to find the companies that you want to work for and reach out to them. I was just telling my acceleration students yesterday that it's a good idea to just look at the companies that you want to work for and see if they're hiring, and see what the portfolios of those character artists, what they look like. And that's your bar that you need to set. And speaking of which, I do teach an acceleration program. It's group coaching to people who want some extra mentoring. We meet every week and go over your portfolio and your characters and try and help you become hireable. That's kind of a new thing I'm doing. I mean, it's not new. I've been doing it for a year. But it's still new compared to my course. My regular course. Okay. Let's get... Looks angry. Need some ears on there too. Okay. Yeah, accuracy over speed for sure. That's like super important to learn. Speed will come over time, but accuracy you got to work on. It's a skill for sure. Okay, let's make eyelids. And we're just going to draw through with the topology brush. Like this, maybe not that low. I'm so excited about Character Creator because it kind of gives my characters new purpose. Like because setting them up and getting them ready for animation is such a task. And being able to do that in a short amount of time it's amazing to me. No, this is not sponsored by them. It's actually sponsored by Maxon, the creators of ZBrush, but it works so well hand in hand with ZBrush. Okay, so I'm going to go split unmask points. Add some thickness. Yeah, it makes me want to go through all of my characters and give them a body and a rig and motion. And that's what I think I'm going to be doing over on my YouTube channel, is taking characters that I've done in the past and updating them with bodies and animation. Just going to smooth this stuff out a little bit. Do you guys want to watch that? Does that sound interesting? Because it is a process for sure to do it, but a much easier, shorter process than actually retopologizing your entire character, putting UVs on it, getting it rigged up. That's a lot of work. And usually it's done by a completely different department in a studio. But this kind of allows you to do it yourself as a character artist. And it works really well for your portfolio too, you know. You do need to call out that it was created in Character Creator and that you didn't retopologize by hand and all that stuff, but just so you're not you know, sharing false information on your portfolio saying that you did the topology and everything yourself. But anytime you see your characters come to life, that's such a more appealing display than, you know, just a static character. Let's go uncrease all, turn that off. Okay. Grab this color and fill it. I prefer you make some videos from your previous models for 3D printing. Yeah, I'm pose them and print them. I totally agree with you. What's the brush you use for the eyelash? Are you talking about the eyelid? That's the fastest way ever. Yeah, it's just the topology brush. It actually ships with ZBrush. Yeah, you just draw the geometry on the surface, and then you, if you tap on the surface, it will create thickness. But if you tap on the surface with a draw size of 1, it will give you a single-sided mesh, just a plane. And that's what this eyebrow is right here. It's just a plane. Same with this this eyelid. So essentially, when I'm editing, I'm just editing this. It's just a single-sided plane, like this. And then I'm adding dynamic thickness, like this. So there's thickness and subdivision levels. And that's how I'm getting it to have thickness. And so this eyelid here has a creased edge. So by default, when you're finished drawing your object on the surface, it's just going to give you an edge like this. I like a softer look. So you can do one of two things. You can either turn your crease level down so it'll still be sharp, but it'll be a soft crease, kind of like a bevel. Or you can just uncrease all. And then if you do the uncrease all method, you have to turn off this post subdiv thickness. Now, this is in my custom user interface, which you can go get from 3dcharacterworkshop.com. I give it away for free over there. Or if you want, you can find this under the tool menu under geometry post subdiv. So if you go to the geometry menu right here and you look for dynamic subdivisions, it's all right here. I just drug it out to be quicker access on my user interface. Hey, Polly, how are you doing? Welcome. So now we have a softer look on our eyelids. And then I can draw some eyelashes on there here in a minute. But I can now move it, pull it out. Yeah, I really like that method because it keeps things non-destructive, whatever you want to say. Okay, need to curve that down. Having this a single-sided mesh that with dynamic subdivisions makes it very, very editable. Okay. Those might be a little long. Okay, let's get this shape in here. I know you're waiting for this, Mark. Let's make the mouth bubble. Sometimes I'll use this method and sometimes not so much, depending on the concept. Yeah, not so angry face. Okay, so with this mouth bubble, it's really fun because you can kind of see that hidden line right there. That's the smile line that goes up behind the nostril there, which I need to close this gap. Okay. And then basically, I don't want it to be that bubble-ish. And then it kind of comes out to where the corners of the mouth are. A little straighter line. Topological doesn't always work well when you have something masked off, because topological is masking, so it's like masking. And then come down here, and this is kind of flat on the bottom. Okay, now that we have this, I'm going to split it into its own subtool for a second. Go down and fill it with this color. And then I'm going to duplicate it. So we have this piece, and then one's going to be the upper lip and one's going to be the lower lip. So we can actually hide the other one. Use move. Let's do a save as before we get too far here. Okay. Use move. And then we're just going to make that lip. There's a couple ways we can do it. We can use the clip curve if we want. Let's try it just to see what we get. I think we have it still active. Yep. So I'm going to go from the corner of the mouth and kind of go up to the upper lip like this. Do you have any tips on how to control IMM curve brushes more easily? It can be such a hassle. Not really. It's easier just to redraw it than it is to try and edit something that you've already drawn. I've found, and it's easiest if you create a temporary object to draw the curve on top of instead of trying to draw it out in space, right? So if you have a temporary object, the exact surface that has the curvature of the curve that you're wanting, it makes it so much easier just to draw the curve on top of that object. So I hope that helps. Okay, so we got, this looks like a mustache now. Mustachio. Just gonna pinch that a little tighter. Let's raise this up a little bit more. Add just a tad, a titch of volume. So it's not a perfectly flat plane. Got to plump them up. Okay, and then we'll unhide the other one. And that will become the bottom lip. So we'll do the same kind of technique. We'll just clip it kind of at that angle, go into the corner of the mouth. Maybe something like that. Oh, it's like me. And this one, we'll use the Move Infinite brush. I'm going to bring that shape way back at an angle. Pull this out. And let's give it a mouth cavity. And this is, doing it this way is nice because it basically just gives you a single shape to edit rather than trying to fight the shape in the inside the mesh or part of the mesh. Yeah. Yep, exactly, Mark. And then I do want to make this a thin lip so it kind of curves into the mouth, but you can see it's kind of squishing all this geometry down here. So we can turn on Sculptus Pro and just hit it and get rid of that. So not only is Sculptus Pro good for adding geometry, it's also good for removing geometry. So now we have it curving down into the mouth. That's how lips work. We can do the same thing with the top. Let's give a little more density on there. Yeah, that's good. Okay, I want to do the same thing with this top lip. Just push it up to kind of start to make it an actual mouth interior. You want the lips to kind of roll over the gums. Smooth it out nice. Then you can also make it get thinner as it goes out here. You can turn on transparency again so you can see through, and you can move right through the other geometry to make it get all thin down here. Then you can tuck the lower lip up underneath the upper lip. Again, making it thinner as it goes. See how it's thick to thin as it goes down there? You can do that. And then just give it an actual mouth cavity. Whoops. Select the right mesh. There we go. Just kind of push it. You don't, if you're just making a character like this, you don't need a full mouth cavity. Just one big enough that you can fit some teeth in there. Lavender. Never quite knew how to apply Sculptress. Oh, yeah. I use it all the time. I actually don't use Dynamesh anymore, really. Because I found Sculptress. Okay, so here's a prime example. See how I have all this geometry and it's getting bigger and bigger the more I stretch it out into the mouth? Well, if I want, I can, with Sculptress Pro active, I can just hold down Shift and just hit it and even out those triangles to make them more even with the rest of the mesh. And since I have adaptive skin on, or off, sorry, adaptive off, it will match it to the same density as the world no matter what my brush size is. Really nice. I like it a lot. Okay. So now that we have her mouth like this is kind of the only time I use, well, let's turn off Sculptress for a minute. A cylinder is when I make teeth. So I'm going to bring this in. Here, let's grab the teeth are like this blue. I'll lighten them up here in a minute. Looks like it's chewing on a cylinder. Here we go. We can just split this off. Bring it forward. Whoops, got an arrow down. Bring it forward. Make 3D printable models, and every lesson says to use Dynamesh. Yeah, yeah, Remesh by Union with Sculptress Pro. That's all you need. That is all you need. Now, there's nothing wrong with using Dynamesh. Let me just put that little asterisk out there. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, that's the method that's been used for a long, long time, and it's still 100% viable. But I'm just saying that it's just so much more pleasant to use Sculptress Pro. I'll pull this out more than it is to use Dynamesh, because Dynamesh tends to melt your model. Like, it'll melt your details away. Whereas Sculptress Pro will just add geometry. And Dynamesh will rebuild your entire model, where Sculptris Pro will only add triangles in the area where you need them, where you want them. So it's just more of a control thing. I'm just trying to get this to line up better here. Without destroying my flanges. Yeah, it's absolutely decimation. Yep. Yep, and you can focus flood fill the decimation exactly where you need it, which is exactly what you want, usually, most of the time. So if you run out of geometry, you can just say, make more in the area that you need it. So much looks like a mustachio. Okay. So let's get the pinch. Lean in for the pinch. And then I want this to curve up and then down into the head here. Okay, so see how these are getting stretched right here? You can just go zoop. Well, if it was on, zoop, just even that out. And if you're if you want it more dense, you just adjust that little slider and you can just a little more than that. Just add a little bit more density, and that will allow you to pinch the mesh even a little tighter. Like that. Then you can grab this color, like say the medium tone right there. You can leave Sculptris Pro on if you want, or you can turn it off, because the paint will add triangles as you paint. You can see how it's kind of chunky monkey, but if you get closer to that edge, it'll tighten up. Because I pinched it right there. And I have this, I have Sculptris Pro on my user interface for this very purpose. So again, if you're interested in getting my user interface, let's blur that out a little bit. Blur this out a little bit. If you're interested in getting my user interface, you can go over to 3D Character Workshop and get it. I give it away for free over there. I think I'm going to draw that and then just pinch it to tighten that up. There you go. Yeah, it's a little too tight now. Too tight. Back that off a little bit. And I also teach a course. I have a course. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. Go check it out on the same website, 3dcharacterworkshop.com. Yeah, Lavender, I love his stuff too. That's some of these brushes are based off of his brushes. Like the fill brush, the polish brush. Those two are based off of his. Okay, then the upper lip. I'm gonna bring that higher. I'll adjust those teeth afterwards. And then the last thing I offer too is an acceleration program, which is group coaching for anybody who wants to accelerate their learning in their portfolio and work on getting hireable if you want to work in the industry. And when I say the industry, I'm talking about games, toys, film, television. We meet every week, and if you're interested, you can just reach out to me through the contact section of my webpage. That will send an email right to me, and then I can tell you more about it. Or if you're already a student, you can just DM me on the Discord channel, the student Discord channel. There are a couple spots still open. So I usually like to go darker with the upper lip. Let's see how that looks. It might be too dark. And I'm just going to go ahead and color in the mouth interior the same dark red. See how that looks. That's good. Looks like I colored right here. Is my forum community still working on the website? It is, but it's now a Discord channel. So it's not the forum that I used to have. And to gain access to the Discord channel, it's just right inside the course, right on the main dashboard. That's where you get access to it. Okay. Not a fan of these teeth yet. Need to get some hair and then some. I think the ears will really help. Start saving up for the course. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, she looks like she's going E. E. And maybe rotate them down like this. How close to the surface? A little better, I think. I need to maybe narrow them up again. Give some dark space back in there, and then let's get that lip a little pulled up higher. Yeah, the whole idea with my acceleration program is to try and go up against the technical box schools in the world that like to charge people exorbitant amounts of money, and then they finish up with not having the skills they need to get a job. So the acceleration program's whole goal is to help fill those gaps. And you don't have to have gone to a school to join the acceleration program either. I'm just saying, if you have and you didn't get the experience or the skills that you needed, that's exactly what it's for. Yeah, Yeah, those schools make me pretty grumpy, if you couldn't tell. They're just money grabbing, you know, for-profit education. Because kids will come and say, I want to work in games, or I want to work in toys or whatever. So they go, okay, we'll make something up. And their instructors, like hardly any of them have worked in the industry. So again, if you're interested, feel free to reach out. Self-taught old farts, yeah. If you're trying to get some work in the industry, you know, even if it's just freelance, occasional freelance here and there, and you just want to make your portfolio look hireable, then yes, absolutely. Well, thanks, Lavender. Yep. Yeah, I worked for Disney for 10 years. And for Disney Infinity for 5. And I've done freelance for a lot of different companies, and like for Gearbox and yeah, some Acclaim. I worked for Acclaim for a while, Sony for a while. Just want to be at a desk at that place beginning with down the road. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a good goal. Okay. Let's get some ears. I think the ears are going to make a big difference. I don't know why I waited so long to put them in. You'd say, yes, you are one over. You're not that old, are you? I always say the best time to start is when you're young. And the second best time to start is now. I'd say that there's a minimum amount of work you should have on your art station, and what would that be? No, I would not say that. It makes me irritated when people advise to artists that, you know, what they should put in their portfolio, like how many pieces, how much variety, all that kind of stuff. When the real the real reason for a portfolio is to show people that you can do the thing that they need you to do. And that's it. No more, no less. And if that's done with a single character, then it's possible. I've seen people hired that only have like one really good character in their portfolio, you know. The reason why you would want to put more characters in there is just to prove that you're not a one-hit wonder, that you can do it more than just once. That's what I was just telling Wilbert earlier today. You're 1 month apart? Oh, I didn't know that. Nice. So I say do one amazing character to start with that includes everything that you need to show. And if you're getting into games, what that means is you need to show that you can nail a concept. That just means you can match a concept really, really well, because that's where your value is. Your value is in how well you can match a concept. Unless you're a concept artist in 3D, that's a different thing. But if you're a modeler and you're trying to match a concept, that's where your value is. And then, so that's step number one, is being able to match a concept. Step number two is making it into an asset, a usable asset in a game, a TV show, or a film. And they're all similar, but they have some different different things you need to do to show. And for games, you need to show good topology, good UVs, and in my opinion, it's best if it's in a pose, not in a T-pose. And the ones that really shine are the ones that are rigged with a very subtle animation, like an idle or something like that. Those are the ones that really shine, and that's kind of a bonus extra thing. That's why I think Character Creator is such a cool new thing, is because you can do that without too much effort. I wouldn't necessarily say show something you're proud of. I say show production, and yes, you do want to show something you're proud of. Don't get me wrong, but the idea is show production ready assets if you can. Because companies, you have to put yourself in the people who are hiring people. You have to put yourself in their shoes. They have a problem that they need to solve. They have a project that has characters that need to be built. And they need to know that you can build those characters for them. And that's the whole reasoning behind a portfolio, is to show them that you can do the work. That's it. It's not about how much variety, how much, should I put this in there? Should I put that in there? The only thing you should put in there is anything that shows that you can do what you're going to be hired to do. Like, say if you were a plumber and you're trying to get more plumbing work, you would want to, not that plumbers have portfolios, but if you were going to be a plumber and you had a portfolio, or like even an architect, right? Architects have portfolios. You just want to show that you can do the work that they want you to do. You'd love to have a proper explanation on rendering for presentation. Yeah, I was just thinking about doing one for my acceleration students the other day. Because it's funny, it doesn't really matter where you render, like what rendering engine that you use. The biggest thing is just to show off your model in an appealing way. Yeah, that's why turntables do get boring. That's why I'm saying like an animated idle is more appealing than a turntable. Best advice I can give is join a company's forums or websites that you're interested in working or want to work with. They will tell you what they want and expect you to know and can do. That's great advice. Yeah, that's great advice. Crack spackle. Yeah, when people show T poses and they're not lit, they're not well lit, and it's hard to see the model, I will pass on them. It's like, if you can't take the time to do a good presentation, then you're not ready yet, kind of a thing. You have to show that you care. There's some good videos on lighting characters on Flip Normals. Yeah, Flip Normals has some great lighting tutorials. There's one with Thanos that they do with this camera that spins around the character that's really solid. And you don't have to do crazy, amazing rigging either. You can even use like auto riggers. Just something to get in there to like make it move a little bit. And like little ambient stuff, like little floaties around the atmosphere, they're nice. You know, just some kind of awesome presentation. Yeah, that's the second half, Leonard. That's the second half that we don't talk about, right? That most artists miss when they interview is how to be personable and easy to work with. So, and to help you with that, okay, to help you with that, again, put yourself in the position of helping that company, right? I think people get too caught up in getting a job, okay? When in reality, what you're doing when you're getting a job is you're helping them solve a problem. And again, that problem for us as character artists is they need characters made and we need to help them make them, okay? So they have this list of characters that they need help making. So in your interviews, what you want to do is just be thinking about that in your head. I want to help you, okay? And so any answer to any question, just be thinking about that overlying theme is I want to help you. So what that does is it makes it so you're not going to be an entitled person, right? You're not going to be like, well, what do I get? What are the benefits? What's this? What's that? How much is the pay? You know, instead flip it on its head and go, how can I help you? How many characters are you looking to have done? You know, you want your portfolio to show that you can hit the ground running and you're not going to need training or constant asking of the art direction or the concept artist or whatever. You're going to be able to just do the work without needing your hand held. Okay. So if you go in an interview with that attitude, it will change the way you interview. How can I help you? And it makes the interview light and friendly instead of just weird pressure, you know? How can I help you? And the more you can help, the more valuable you're going to be to them. And that's basically what your portfolio is going to show. And that's where the, you know, the negotiations come in. Hello, Ghost. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. This model is still in the valley of the suck. And I think I want to pull the back of the head down and start working on this neck some more. Sorry, I don't know if you guys said your name right. Yeah, sometimes. So what I like to say is every model has to go through the valley of the suck. It comes from a saying that Ryan Kingsland did. I totally agree. It's like it's gotta look bad before it looks good. Sometimes it looks bad for a long time, and sometimes you find it right away. But this one seems to be looking not great for a long time. Not even sure if I say it right. That's too funny. Elgos, sorry it took so long to send me send you that email. It got lost in the pile. Did you? I just sent it off, so I hope you saw it. Yeah, the first step in being good at something is being bad at something. Absolutely. Yep. You don't just start out being a rock star. You got to learn first. Okay, I feel like the back of the head is just, I want to slope it down like this. I know it's in perspective, but I think I want to, like, it's like doing this from back to front. It's kind of going boop. I love that, Lori. When in doubt, block it out. Your work's blocked Discord. Oh, no worries. Okay, I'll just, yeah, send me a, I'll set up a scheduler and send it to you. We can figure something out. Not a big deal. Just zoom it. Great characters, by the way. Holy cow. I was like, whoa. These are nice. Maybe break that down just a little bit and make it so she's not so flat-headed. You're so flat-headed. Oh, okay. Sure. I should be. Okay, now this I want to change. Just the angle. Kind of bring it down like this instead. And to see if I can make that work. I missed the part where you mentioned where we could send work to you or something. I don't really. So yes, I have an acceleration program where I give feedback and portfolio reviews and all that kind of stuff there. But it's a group coaching program where we meet twice a week and go over portfolios and characters and advice like I was just giving. And we figure out goals and try and get your portfolio to where it needs to be to get to where you want to go. Looks like a vampire. All right. So yeah, these shadows are pretty confusing as to what's going on here. It's like a couple different planes overlapping, kind of bleeding out right there. Maybe this is a little closer to the mouth. Hey Bruno, welcome, thank you. Okay, let's get some sometimes color helps and eyelashes help, and probably hair would be a good thing. Just saying. Whoops. Just saying. For those of you showing up now, I was showing a little bit of Character Creator at the beginning of this live stream, because what I've been doing that's a lot of fun is I've been taking some of my characters from this live stream, pushing them over to, well, pushing their base mesh from Character Creator over to ZBrush, and then matching it to my sculpt, giving it a body, adjusting the proportions, and sending it back. Which is it's been a lot of fun. And that base mesh you can really stretch. So, like, for example, if I like the way this turns out, which I'm not liking how it's turning out right now, but if eventually I like the way it turns out, I could absolutely give her a body and some animation and stuff like that would be fun. But I was going to pull that up and show you. So I actually used my character that I did during my live streams. They're using it as promotional material for their AccuFace plugin that they just recently released. I think it's on sale right now, actually. You can check that out. Let me show you that. And then I also took my caricature that I did a while back during the live streams, and I pushed that over to Character Creator as well. And it's just a lot of fun. And I did this one. This is a character that is another Ben Eblin character that I did. And when you use their base mesh, it just comes over automatically rigged. And so you can play around with the like the facial animation and stuff. And it's just super, super fun to watch it in motion. So let me open up this one. Yeah, so there's a video that someone, one of the Character Creator users made on using Character Creator to pose figures for minis, like D&D minis, and it's really, really good. But anyway, this is another character I made. This is based off of one of Josh Black's designs, and she just has a light idle on her right now. But it's really, really fun to just like put animation on him and see him move. And again, I just did a bust during my live streams, and then I took it into ZBrush and I made this top and made the skirt and adjusted the proportions of the base mesh. And these heels are from the content editor here. So you can just once you use their base mesh, you can just drag the anything from the store over here and just drag it and drop it, and it will line itself up to your character. It's really, really nice. So I did that with the shoes on her. And then it's real-time lighting, so you can set up the lighting in here and give it a background image, stuff like that. So it's kind of like a, like a real-time renderer, like Marmoset or Eevee or like Unreal. Not quite as powerful as Unreal, but still, it's really, really nice. It's a good way to show it off. Yeah, I was thinking about Nicolas Cage. That'd be hilarious, right? Because then there's me. I'll show you me. This one just made me laugh to see my caricature come to life. Check it out. And so I drug the glasses from the store over here. They weren't quite the same shape as mine, so I pushed them back to ZBrush, edited them and pushed them back, and I used some here, I'll play this. Right? Isn't that funny? Just like looking around. I was thinking about using this as like a VTuber thing and drive, because they have this thing called AccuRig, or sorry, not AccuRig. They do have AccuRig, but they have a thing called AccuFace that will use an iPhone to drive the face, and then or a webcam or an actual video that you've recorded. It will, yeah, it's so funny. It's so hilarious. And you can put these different motions on there. Let's see. Let me do tune male posing. I don't know what this is going to look like, but so I did drag some shoes on here. I need to still line them up, but these are the proportions I gave myself. Yeah, it's really funny. But let's see what this does. Too funny. Posing. I don't know what those eyes are doing. Oh man. Anyway, this beard is from their gosh. You can also go back to the restore bind pose. This is the bind pose. This beard is from their store as well. That's what I was showing right here. This mustache, and it just lines right up if you use their base mesh. It's so amazing. Yeah, super cool. And this hat, I made the hat over in ZBrush, and you can export the textures and bring them over and hook them up. And these eyebrows I brought over. I'm debating on whether to do stylized eyebrows like this or like fuzzy hair like this. These are just hair cards like a game engine uses. So yeah, pretty exciting. Anyway, it's just so much fun. And then, if you guys remember that bear hand I used to have, it'd be fun to either hook up my bear and do the bear this way, or redo the arm to make the arm look like this arm. It'd be just fun to do that. And get him to match up to the impression now. Yeah, right. It's so funny. Anyway, yep, character creator. And then we go back to this bubblegum colored skin. Let's warm this skin up, shall we? But I'm going to be doing some character creator demos over on my website. Not my website, my YouTube channel, if you're interested in that. And I think it's going to be on my Shane Olson YouTube channel, not my 3D Character Workshop one. You know what? I'm going to blend these together. So let's connect them all. I was watching an older stream and you mentioned a bear hand. Yeah, there's an overlay that I made for OBS that would follow my stylus, so you can actually see a hand floating over the top of the screen, and it was of a cartoon bear's hand. Pretty funny. Okay, I'm gonna merge all these together and blend them in, so I can get rid of the weirdness. There's a lot of weirdness happening. Okay. So I'm just gonna stitch. Let's stitch the mouth too. But I'm gonna save it as a new thing. Okay, let's see. Bump, bump, bump. And merge this down. Merge it down again. And what's this? Eyebrows and eyelids. Okay, I'm not going to merge the eyelids, just all this stuff. So I can duplicate this, so I can always go back. And then we're going to stitch it. And what I like to do is put the gizmo in the center of the object, reset it, and then turn symmetry back on, and then go remesh by union, which will stitch everything together kind of like Dynamesh does and get rid of the interior geometry like Dynamesh does. But it doesn't rebuild your entire mesh, and it keeps all of the hard edges. So you can see that hard edge right there. It's still there. This is perfect for 3D printing. Perfect. Because it doesn't melt your mesh. Can't seem to find your non-3D. It's just look up Shane Olson on YouTube. Maybe do 3D tunes. Hold on a second. let's see. Let's do a, I'm updating it. There's no videos right now. This is it. That's probably why you can't find it. Yeah, it's just me and my stuff. There's my caricature right there. And this is the very, very first Character Workshop logo that I made a long time ago. So anyway, I'm going to be updating this channel. It's crazy because I have no videos on here, but yet I have 3,000 subscribers, almost 4,000. So come subscribe and I'll be putting videos up here soon. Let me give you the link, Neil. Where are you? Okay, I gave it to you in Discord, Neil. I guess I could put it here for everyone. I don't know. Yeah, you can't put links to YouTube. So if you just, yeah, I don't know how you'd find I got to get some videos up there. Okay. So now this is all stitched together, I can smooth out the bits using Sculptress. Turn symmetry back on. So like, for example, this down here, see this really hard edge right here? Let's test the size. Go a little smaller, there we go. See, I can just blend the stitching out. Like that. And you can keep the hard edges you want to keep, blend out the ones you don't. Like say the front of the ear right here, just blend all that. You can crank the power of your smooth up. Oh, Neil, okay. Those nostrils look all pinched. Let's go. I don't want to ruin the color. I just want to kind of blur that out a little bit. Not so sharp. Then I'll come back in with a pinch and clean it back up. But I just wanted to kind of blend it together so it wasn't so strong of a change. Hey Patrick, thanks man. How are you doing? Now we got a little hole up here. Pull that lid back up in there. Sorry, Lori, I didn't get to the pupils on this one. I always think of you when I do pupils. Better get them in there. Thought it was on pinch. Pinch. There we go. I like the pinch brush so much because it allows me to move geometry, like physically push it around, because pinch will grab neighboring geometry and move it, like pull it towards the center like a black hole. I should call it the black hole brush. Okay, so let's just kind of open up this nostril a little bit, make it more nostrily. Could you please be more nostrily? Still have Sculptress on, yeah? Okay. Let's go a little tighter. Gosh dang it. Why? Sometimes I think I have a brush selected and I don't. Yep, blank stare. I need to give her lower eyelids too. I usually don't for females. I'll usually just give it a lower eyelid ridge. But I think in this particular one, I want to give her actual lower eyelids. Looking like Jerry Seinfeld. Yeah, I can see that. You know. I don't do a good Jerry Seinfeld. I always thought it would be funny to like make caricatures of people that I can sort of do the voices of, and then bring them over to Character Creator and then puppet them. Like my voice I could do. I'll have to work on my Nicolas Cage. So I went too far on that one. Okay, I think I'm going to stop there. No, I'm not. I'm going to put a little bit of color. I gotta warm her up. Okay, let's warm it up. I should probably do Sean Connery. Let's add some orange in here first. Oh, well, I was painting out those lips and I don't necessarily want that. Let's go a little more red. Yeah, I really need to blend this ear transition out. This fill brush works so good for that. You can just fill it right in. It makes a beautiful transition. It's like the clay buildup brush. And you can use this polish to kind of push it back down. Gotta be careful though. It'll push too far sometimes. That's better. So buttery. Yep. Good old Phil McCrevis. That's another character for you. There's not enough geometry here. That's too much. There we go. I just want to pinch this area right here. What I usually do is bring the edges in and then smooth them back down. Bring them up and smooth them back down. It's like a dance over and over again. She needs eyelashes and that'll help. Let's turn on perspective. Get out of the 35. There we go. All right, her ear's a little too big and I can still probably pull the back of her head down. There we go. That's better. Maybe sharpen up this back. I like, whenever I'm done with the live stream, I kind of like to sit back and evaluate and figure out what I can make better. Probably pinch that mouth closed a little bit more. Make this a little straighter. Too round. But overall, I think it's okay. It's getting there. I think lighting is really, really going to help it, because it's got this really harsh key light coming from top right and making all these shadows. But all right, you guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really, really appreciate it. As always, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And I hope you get a lot of sculpting in. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I know you have a lot of other things you could be doing rather than hanging out with me today, so I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure. So, and just last time, I'm just going to say, if you want my brushes, you can go to 3dcharacterworkshop.com, grab my brushes and my user interface and my custom menu. You get all that for free over there, for the measly little price of your email, just getting on my newsletter list. And then I also teach a course. It's called the 3D Character Workshop. Over 2,000 students have joined the course. Can you believe it? Over the last 6 years. And I have most recently been doing an acceleration course. It's not a course, it's a mentorship. It's a group coaching where we meet every week for a couple hours, go over your portfolio and your characters, your goals, talk about high level stuff like how to get into the industry, bring some industry professionals in to talk to us once in a while, like Farside chats. So it's a lot of fun. If you want to join us, just reach out to me over my email, shane.olson@3dcharacterworkshop.com, or you can go to the contact page on my website, 3D Character Workshop. Or if you're already a student of mine, you can just reach out to me via DM and I'll tell you more about it. So, all right, everybody. Again, thank you so much. Have a wonderful week, and I will catch you all next Monday, unless I stream on my own channel for some reason. We'll see. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you later.